Hey guys, welcome to the studio. Today I'm going to share with you how you can sublimate on a cotton shirt by using white glitter heat transfer vinyl. So the first thing we need to do is go into Design Space, of course, and pick a design. I'm choosing the far right paw print. I just type paw print into the search engine. And then all we need to do is size it for what we need. Now I'm just putting mine on a piece of cotton fabric so you guys can see the entire piece as I'm making it. You'll understand later on in the video what I mean. And we're going to use the glitter heat transfer vinyl from Cricut, and then we're going to use infusible ink, or you can use sublimation if you have a sublimation printer. So I'm going to use the cute butterflies right there. I thought they were super pretty, and the fabric I'm putting it on is purple, and I am going to be using it on my little dog's like on a bandana forms for him, so I thought that would be cute. All right, so now all we have to do is place our vinyl down on our mat, and remember we always put it shiny side down for heat transfer vinyl. I'm going to take the cover off and I'm going to turn my mat at an angle. I feel when I turn my mat at an angle, it's way easier to line everything up. And here you're going to put it glitter side down. That's the shiny side. And if you line up just the top left for the first 2 inches is all I do. I make sure on the top there it lines up across the top for the first 2 inches and on the right for the first 2 inches, and it lays down perfectly. So I really feel like everything with Cricut that I do is at an angle. That's kind of like our thing here at Crafters Support, is at an angle, and it works really, really well. So once I get it pressed down, I do realize that my mat, which it's a real like mat, I've had it, you guys saw the video where I opened that up and I did the shopping, haul, but I use this already to make over 90 shirts because I do run a business, and it's still pretty sticky. It's the strong grip, but the glitter vinyl, because it's rolled all the time and in my little roller holders, it's still rolling up. So I'm gonna need to tape it down because I don't want it to move while I'm cutting. So I'm just gonna flatten it down the best I can. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add painter's tape just to hold it down and make sure it's not gonna move. So I do use my roller to roll it down. I do like the roller. It does make a difference. I said in the past, I was like, I never use mine, but I honestly had a junky roller. So this is actually called a brayer, but the one I had before was just weird. It didn't roll right, so I'd never used it. But now that I have one that works really well, and I'll link it below, I do like to use it. I think it is more effective. So I'm just going to take some of my painter's tape and I'm just going to press it down and do all the way around it. I don't know if I show you taping the entire thing, but I do tape like the ends, the middles, tops, bottom, sides, just so it doesn't move. This painter's tape I get at Family Dollar, by the way. It's super cheap, and I do use a lot of it. I use painter's tape for a ton of crafting things because it doesn't tear my paper. It doesn't mess with the vinyl. As long as you're taking it off when you're done using it, like you don't leave it on something for a long time, it doesn't leave any residue or anything like that. Okay, so it's ready to go into the machine, and now I believe I'm going to, I don't think I show you guys the actual cutting process in this video just because, you just slide it in the machine and off you go. Okay, so here I'm just adding, going back into Design Space and getting it ready to cut, and I'm setting it for glitter vinyl. So now that the machine's cutting with glitter vinyl, I need to get my infusible ink ready. So infusible ink it's a Cricut product, and when you use it, make sure you don't have any lotions on, anything like that on your hands, because it will transfer onto the infusible ink and it can mess up your project. It can make a blurry spot or like a dull spot on it. So just be very careful. Just make sure your hands are nice and clean and touch your infusible ink as least as you need to. Okay, so this is how it's going to come when you open the box. It's in a black tight seal. All you're going to do is cut the top off, and you're going to try to save the black covering as best as you can. So you don't want to just like tear it all out. You want to cut the top and leave it as intact as possible. So I'm just going to take my True Control knife from Cricut. I'm going to cut it And I'm just going to tear it down a tiny bit, just enough to get it out of the plastic. And so there's quite a few rolls in here. I got this in one of the mystery boxes. The first thing I pulled out is a piece of poly material, and it's like a swatch that you can practice on. I don't need to do that this time because I've done it before, so I know it's going to work. But if you ever needed to work on something and you wanted to try it out first, it does come with this swatch. It also comes with the butcher paper that you need to put in between your projects. That's what that was. And now we can pull out our different designs that are in there. There's quite a bit in this one. So I'm trying to think. I'm not sure if this was the same pack that it had 4 or 5 in it. Let me see if I can read the box here. 4 sheets. Okay, so you get 4 sheets of infusible ink in this one. And they're really pretty. And you'll notice that they're kind of dull, like they're very matte. But when you put them on the actual fabric or the glitter vinyl, it's very bright. It just takes, you need the heat to transfer it from a solid into a gas to go into your fabric. So it might look dull now, but once you put it on your fabric, it's going to be really pretty. So I decided to go with, I'm just showing you each one here with what's on them. And I do decide to use the butterflies that I originally picked out. But this whole pack is really, really pretty in colors. So does it have a name? Let me see if it has a name on it for you. I don't see a name. It just says, okay, maybe Bright Bow Fairy Tale. So that must be the name of it if you need to look it up. And you can use this on the Cricut Joy too, in case you're not sure, but you can. So here I'm just pulling out my butcher paper so I don't forget to use that. I have used infusible ink without butcher paper. I do not suggest it. For one, you don't want to ruin your heat press, and you don't want to ruin your mats under your heat press. So now that this is ready to go, I'm just going to take my standard grip mat and we're going to face it towards us. So, you know, it's shiny side down, right? So if you look on the back of your infusible ink, it is shiny. So you want to do shiny side down. And again, touch it as least as possible. This is where a brayer works. You could take the piece of your butcher paper, lay it on top of it, and press it down so you're not, you know, handling anything, so you're not touching it too much. So here, that's what I do. I just use my brayer. And again, if you're using sublimation ink, like if you have a sublimation printer, you can do the exact same thing. And that's what I do. I just lay a piece of butcher paper or something over top and press it down. So now it's all ready to go. And we are going to cut them. So once we cut them, I just pulled them out of my machine, and I'm going to take my True Control knife, cut around them, and then I'm just going to weed them. So you weed them the exact same. Also, you mirror the image for both of them. You mirror for the glitter and you mirror for the infusible ink, because we're flipping it over. So even though we're actually cutting the outside, it's actually the bottom, if that makes sense. So you'll see once we put it on the fabric. So I'm just cutting it out, and then whenever I weed the infusible ink, I kind of like manipulate it, I bend it a little bit and just kind of break it up, but it comes off so super easy, and the backing that it's on is really sticky, so it holds nice whenever you're putting it on the design, on the fabric. The one thing about sublimation that I don't like is there's no sticky background. So like I can't stick a design to a project without using some sort of heat resistant tape, and it can shift and stuff when you're using the 100% poly t-shirts. So I don't really like that about sublimation, but I like sublimation for other things. Infusible ink works really, really well for t-shirts. I really recommend it if you're looking for just designs and things versus pictures of maybe people or a picture that you've actually created. So that's ready to go. And now we're just going to pull our glitter vinyl and it obviously peels very nicely. This is the Cricut brand. I also use the Caesar brand. I like that as well. And now I just plugged in my Cricut Easy Press, and I went to the Cricut Easy Press site, and I'm just clicking on what I'm using. So I'm using cotton fabric for the glitter HTV, so I put that in first. I will click that I have a press mat and then apply, and it'll tell me for how long and what temperature. Now I made this video 2 days ago, so I can't remember the exact time. I will put it in the links below so you know how much the glitter HTV, how much time and heat temperature that it needs to be in case you don't have an easy press. Or you can just go on to Cricut and use their recommendations for your heat press. So if you have a larger heat press that's like a pull down one that you set the pressure and everything for, you can still use the recommended heat time and pressure amount. So I'm just going to set it, I believe I set it at 330 for 30 seconds. Yes, I think that's what it says. Okay, so I might not put that below. 330 for 30 seconds, and that's what we're gonna press the glitter heat transfer vinyl for. And that is at, it says like gentle pressure or light pressure. I think I give it like a medium pressure just because it's the glitter and I feel like it needs more. So we are ready to press it. So if you have the Easy Press, it's very simple. You're gonna lay your butcher's papers down, which you actually don't have to do this. I'm just protecting the fabric. For 30 seconds, you can just press on top of the carrier sheet, but I'm going to put the butcher's paper down, give it medium pressure for 30 seconds, and let it cool for a second. Flip it over because it is really hot, guys. Flip it over, and then you're going to press it on the back for an additional 15 seconds. So instead of resetting my Easy Press, I just hit the button and I watch it till it counts down to 15. Being that it was at 30, it's half. So I just watch it that, and then I pull it off at 15 seconds remaining. Again, I'm still giving it that pressure. All right, so now that that's done, it will need to cool a little bit. I don't let it cool as long as it says to, but it still works. It doesn't, there's no issues at all with it. But it's really, really hot right now. So now I want to protect my mat because I'm going to be using the infusible ink next, and we don't want to transfer any of the infusible ink onto the mat because it can stay there for a very long time, and then it'll transfer to anything that you put down on top of it once you apply the heat. So now that this is ready, I'm going to go ahead and peel the carrier sheet off. And I think it's just still cooling, but I was like, I'll see if it'll work, and it does work. The recommended is to let it cool. All right, so now that it's ready to go, the glitter does stay hot longer than regular vinyl, in my opinion, so it's still going to be hot. Now I'm going to go in and go into the app. It's not the app, I'm sorry, it's just the online, and I'm going to tell it that I'm using infusible ink and I'm using it on polyester, and I'm just using the t-shirt setting, the polyester t-shirt fabric, just so it knows, like, even though it's not poly fabric, it is poly on the glitter, so that's what it has to transfer to. So now I just have that I have the mat, I have my butcher's paper, and I'm ready to apply it. So I'm going to take my infusible ink, I'm going to put it up to, is that 360 for 80 seconds, I believe. Yes. So the time and temperature goes way up, and it's because it's transferring it's basically going through a chemical reaction. It's going from a solid, which is on the paper, to a gas. It skips the liquid state and just infuses, that's why it's called infusible ink, into the glitter heat transfer vinyl. So again, we're going to place it down, We're going to line it up as best as we can. This is why I cut the exact same size and everything, because I can just kind of line it up a little bit easier versus putting a whole piece of infusible ink across it. And then we're going to put another layer of butcher's paper, because then that's going to protect our easy press, because we don't want any infusible ink getting on the plate of the easy press. So I'm just lining it up, trying to be perfect with it. Put my butcher's paper down, and then I'm going to press it. So with infusible ink, I have found personally pressure is not a huge deal at all. It's mainly the heat and the time, because it's an ink going into, it's a solid ink because it's dried, and it's going into a gas. You don't need pressure to push it down. It just needs the time to transfer from one piece to another. So I'm not really pushing. I just kind of have my hand laying here. There's no, you know, but then this needs to cool, because again, it's super hot. I have zero patience, so I give it like a few seconds, and then I grab a tool and I peel it up. Now, if you were using sublimation here, you would have to be really careful, because you can't see if it's all in line. And I don't know, because the clear background around it, it just makes it a little bit easier is what I'm saying. But look how pretty that turned out. It turned out perfect. It is really hot right now though, I can definitely tell you that. But it turned out perfect. You can see the butterflies, and if you put this on a shirt, they wouldn't know. It would just be a sparkly sublimation, but look how pretty it is. So yeah, guys, it's that easy. If you have any questions, please let me know below. We have a lot going on in our Facebook page. If you guys want to join us, I'll have the link below to that. And I have more videos coming. So I hope you all have a great day. I'll talk to you soon, and bye.